I applied to 656 jobs after my MBA and got into 128 first round interviews, and out of which I cracked 5 full-time job offers.
Your value increases when you add value to others.
And here are 5 things that I really did to make sure I stood out of the crowd and ensure that my CV was seen by recruiters. Landing those 5 full-time job offers was surely because I networked with the right people. I made sure to connect with them on LinkedIn, made sure to speak to ex-employees, made sure to speak to current employees, and got feedback for those particular job roles, and also spoke to people to understand what the company is like. One thing you can possibly do is to understand not just speaking to recruiters on LinkedIn and not just messaging them and spamming them with emails and follow-up emails, but really try to understand how the company is and how the company works inside out. And by doing that, you will get key insights that you can insert into your CV to make sure that you stand out as a potential candidate. I took all their feedback and implemented those changes within my CV. All right, now let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screen and show you my CV and the changes I made to ensure that I stood out of the crowd. This was the first CV that I worked on after my master's, and you can see here that I've put in a picture. I've got education first. I've got a profile on the left side. It just feels a lot cluttered than it should be. It's not simplified, and it's formatted with designs and so on, which the applicant tracking system does not pick up. So firstly, do not include pictures. Please take off pictures. And then when you're going ahead with a CV, make sure to have it text formatted. So use Word, use Google Documents to actually create your CV. This is another big mistake, which is basically to have your education before your work experience. So having education at the top probably suggests to the recruiter, yes, you've done this and you've done that particular course, but it doesn't show that you have the necessary skill set to actually do the job. In my second CV, you can see here it's still cluttered because I still have 2 text options on the left panel and on the right panel, and then I have too many things going on. I still hadn't changed my education. I hadn't removed my education from the top. So even if it's internship, still consider that as work experience. And now on my third CV, I really went ahead to bring out my work experience on top, and I made sure to focus on my work experience and what I did in my work. What were the deliverables that I brought in? And I focused my CV on SaaS businesses and my sales efforts because that's what I was looking to get into. And you can see here, it's predominantly focused on managing teams and leading sales teams, and also looking at my individual contributions as well. A pro tip: remove all fancy jargons and make your CV more simplified, and make sure that you're using words that show what you've actually done. So manage and develop end-to-end sales process, hitting a 50,000 revenue target per month. So these are actionable insights that you've done in your particular role, and you're working on actually giving key insights to the HR on what you've accomplished and how you've accomplished them, and what are the impact that you created through that. So by doing all that, I've built a sales pipeline. I've handled a particular revenue generation, and what has that impacted in that company? How has that grown? How has the company grown? So bring all those things as bullet points within your CV. There's still a few things that I can possibly edit on this CV. Obviously, I can bring it into bullet points, 3 or 4 bullet points. Make sure you can optimize it, because that's really important for 2024. You'd want to ideally make sure that you're having a bullet pointed CV instead of a small paragraph. So when adding to your work experience, make sure you ask yourself, so what? So I've handled a 500 member sales team. So what? What was the revenue generation that you built? What you actually brought into the organization? How did you impact the organization? So bring out the effectiveness of your role and what actually was your outcome for the particular role that you worked in. One of the biggest mistakes I did was not tailoring my CV for a particular job application at hand. So I had to make sure that I changed all those things, focusing in on quality over quantity. No, because oftentimes we think, yeah, I'm going to create a generalized CV and I'm going to blast it out to 1,000 jobs and I'm going to get 1 or 2 jobs. That's not going to work. And even if it did work, you're not going to land the job that you really love. So focus on 3 to 5 roles that you really like and focus your CV and make sure that you're building your CV based on that, and really give effort into creating a proper CV for those particular roles. Just stop applying to too many job roles and spreading yourself too thin. It's not going to work in this day and age. Another pro tip: first impressions always matter. Use tools like Grammarly, use tools that are in Word to make sure that you're taking away all the grammar mistakes and spelling mistakes, and make sure that your alignments are all intact and in proper alignment with all the wordings and all the fonts that you're using, as well as all the hyphens you're putting in. Make sure that you're using only 3 colors, and so you can have a really good looking CV which looks simple but very effective. The difference between your CV and your LinkedIn is basically your LinkedIn is giving you an overall idea of your professional outlook and your and what you've done over the years, and your CV is basically hyper focused on that particular job role you're applying for, as well as what you're trying to do with that particular role that you're given. So whatever you've done in the past, as well as what you're going to achieve in the future. So it should give clarity to the HR and the recruiter to understand what you can bring to the table for the organization. And lastly, make sure to send your CV to people you know and try to understand their feedback and what they understand from your CV. That can give you incredible insights as to what you have to improve on. Hope you found this video useful. Do hit the like and share with others, and don't forget to subscribe.